In the last 15 years of being a filmmaker and running a video production company, I kept seeing people burn out over and over again. And I saw this even people in their 20s and 30s burning out, including myself. Back in 2019, I was traveling so much, a few states per month consistently, and I was in physical pain. My back was hurting. I had to go to physical therapy twice a week just because of the shape I was in. And I really was burning out because of wearing so many different hats and doing so many different things. So I kind of wish I had a video like this to kind of give me some guidelines of how to avoid that burnout. Because from what I've seen, as a freelance filmmaker or running a video production company, so many people burn out in a short amount of time. And hopefully with this video, I could give you some guidelines of things that I should have avoided a long time ago and how I had 2020 to kind of reset and come up with things going forward that's going to help me avoid burnout in the future. And even if you're starting out as a filmmaker and you don't care about burning out, you just want as much work as you can get, this might be helpful to you to just kind of bookmark and come back to, because it's almost inevitable. I've almost never seen someone not get to this point somewhere in their career. So here are the 3 things I came up with to try to help myself avoid burnout in the future, and I hope some of these are helpful for you too. The first one is delegating, and I know it's going to be the hardest thing to implement. I'll just tell you a story of how this always develops. You start out your career as a filmmaker, as a freelancer, and it doesn't matter what line of work you're in. You could be in the art department, you could be a cinematographer, director, editor. You get to a point as you build out your career that you're going to be pretty busy. You're going to get to 40 hours a week, then 50 hours a week, then 60 hours a week. Once you get to that point, this is what ends up happening to a lot of people. Instead of finding other people to help them and take things off their plate, they try to do everything themselves. I was at a point where sometimes I was working over 90 hours a week, including my travel. And that will cause burnout no matter who you are, right? No matter who you are, 90 hours a week is not sustainable, not even for a few months. And I was doing it for a few years. So what you really need to do once you get to that point is realizing, yes, if you take all the work, you will make more money, but you will burn out and you will have a short career or you will physically get hurt. So get to a point where you're comfortable with the amount of money you're making, especially if you're a freelancer, then delegate things to other people that could help you out. And I know because this is a creative field, it's very hard to delegate. A lot of people believe they could edit better or shoot better or direct better, but there are plenty of good talent out there and you could collaborate with them and take things off each other's plate too. Sometimes you may have 90 hours and someone else may only have 20 that week. So you could help each other out to kind of building those collaborations just to make your life more sane. Number 2 is very personal to me, and that is clearing up your plate from doing 100 different things. Literally in my career, this is how I kind of started out. I was freelancing for a while and then I started a production company. And this is almost 10 years ago. But for the longest time, I still freelanced, I still edited, I still ran my video production company, and I still was creating content. I was doing marketing, I was learning business. I was even learning accounting, even though I had an accountant. I wanted to know exactly what he was doing. So I would spend like 2 weeks in a QuickBooks course or figure something else out. Then I'm learning 3D animation and trying to do that instead of hiring that out, learning Photoshop and doing graphic design. And I'm sure a lot of us have been there before, right? We tried to do way too many things. But you have to understand, no matter how many things you could do, and if you're a jack of all trades, eventually you will have too much on your plate and you're going to drop a ball somewhere. Focus on whatever you like most and try to get other people to handle other things. So instead of going out and taking a job and producing that job and scheduling that job and being the director and the DP on that job and editing that job, try to figure out if maybe that job is just not right for you and is too low of a budget where you can't delegate, because sometimes that's what happens. If you get a low budget job, you end up doing everything yourself, you are missing on other opportunities. So the whole idea here is scaling up the production level of your projects, no matter if you're a freelancer or if you run a video production company in really any category on topic of video. Figuring out how you scale up so you could actually get other people to help you so you could focus. It's all about focusing. For video production company, I've really dialed back on the type of projects we shoot now. I specifically now shoot commercial work, and I specifically do documentary style storytelling work. Two things. In line of video production, there's 20, 30 different things you could focus on, right? And I was doing all of them just about for a decade or so. But now I have really focused on things that I care about, the type of clients that I care about, and I turned down a ton of work and I've never been happier. Number 3 is you got to decide between these two different things because ultimately they're two separate things. Do you want to be a filmmaker or a professional in a very specific field like a cinematographer or an editor? Or do you want to run a business? Okay, it could be a video production business or a business of making content or films, but they're kind of separate. But almost everyone, when starting out, thinks they could do both, right? So I was doing the same thing, but this is what ends up happening. If you're a business owner and you're running that business, but you choose to direct and be the cinematographer, for example, what I was doing, on every project that was coming in, and still taking freelance work that way too, I was so busy all the time, even on the shoot, right? Emails are coming in, there's customer support, there's the next proposal, something wrong is going on with the Facebook ad or the Google ad and it's charging me more, and somebody's calling me because the website got hacked, and I'm dealing with all this while I'm on a shoot, and then I'm also managing a team that's on a different shoot while I'm on this other shoot. This is not just something that I was doing. Everybody I saw was trying to do the same thing, and they were going nuts trying to juggle like 100 balls at the same time. So if you don't like business, you should partner up with someone that understands business, sales, and marketing, and let them handle it. They don't even have to know about video. Some of the best partnerships that I've seen are people that understand that they are the creative, they want to be filmmakers, directors, cinematographers, producers, and they want someone else to handle the business side of things, and that makes a great partnership. But again, usually that's not the case. Usually two filmmakers that have the exact same skill sets go in business together, right? And then they still end up in the same position because both of them go on the shoot, and the business is being ran by nobody or by them on shoots, multitasking and dropping a ball at some point or burning out. There's a really great book on this topic, by the way, I recently read called The E-Myth Revisited, and it's pretty much every small business deals with this, right? So there was an example of a plumber, for example. With a plumber, right? They did the same thing as we do with video. They had a business, but they were the business, right? They would go on every job, and every job that they came in, they would handle everything, and then they would go to the next job and the next job, but run their business while they're on the job. But the book was saying basically, if that plumber decided to go into carpentry or something they had no idea about, they would have a more successful business because they would be forced to hire a carpenter or to hire an electrician. But as a plumber, because they know they could do the job, they go do the job. They don't hire another plumber, so the business never grows. It gets stuck. It's not a business really. It's a job that you created for yourself. Yes, you're your own boss, but because you're your own boss, you end up working 80 hours a week and you make a really bad boss for yourself. And this is not just true with video production or plumbing. It's pretty much all small businesses fall into this trap. You could have a bakery or a flower shop, and you will fall into the same trap if you don't follow those 3 different things that I mentioned. It's all about delegating. That's the very first step, and it's a fine point of figuring out where to get to a certain amount of money where you're comfortable, and then not being greedy and trying to make double that without delegating, because you could go from 40 hours a week to 80, burn out, but you will make double the money, right? But for a short time, and then you will burn out or you will get hurt. Like I said, I was in physical therapy and a chiropractor for 6 months because of how much I was abusing my body of all the different travel shoots and turning down no work whatsoever and getting to 90 hours a week. And then you narrow down your focus. If you're a freelancer and you're stuck between directing and editing, picking a field. If you're a video production company, choosing the type of content that you create, the type of clients you serve. If you want to make films, the type of genre of film that you want to create. You really got to narrow that down. And then finally, you got to decide as a person, Do you want to be the creator, the creative person that's creating videos and creating content and films? Or do you want to be a business owner and focus on that side of things? And that's fine to grow with this and decide this in the future. It's not like you got to sit down and decide this right now. But over time, try to move in one direction or another direction. If you hate marketing and you hate accounting and things like that, and sales that are related to business, you need to partner with someone that could handle that for you so you could focus, or you don't even have to run a video production company, right? You could actually be a very successful director or producer and not run a video production company also, because that's just really creating a job for yourself that makes your life a whole lot more stressful and it makes you burn out. So hopefully that gave you a clear guideline with some of the examples that really helped me throughout this process. Now in 2020, I really had time to sit down and figure this out and really slow things down for myself. But I don't know if I didn't have that forced break that I ever was going to get to this point. I was basically just burning out and I don't know what was going to happen. I was probably going to get to a point where I couldn't even physically work. But luckily I had enough time to sit down and kind of devise a plan. And I'm going to make more videos like this all the time. And I'm also putting together an entire course of showing you how exactly to go from a freelancer to creating a very successful video production company, scaling it, hiring out, and everything else that it goes to running a business. So make sure you sign up for the waiting list below if that is something you're interested in. Thank you so much for all your time, and I hope to catch you next time.